There are more than 3,500 Indian students pursuing their higher studies in Netherlands, out of over 1 million Indian students studying abroad globally. That is less than 0.5%. And honestly, that number tells you everything because the Netherlands has multiple universities ranked in the top 100. English is spoken by majority of the population, and salaries that let most graduates recover their full investment within 2 to 3 years. So the question isn't why you should consider the Netherlands. The question is why aren't more Indians already there? Hi, I'm Akhilesh from Admit Abroad, and we have helped hundreds of students get into top-ranked universities across the world. In this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about studying, working and living in Netherlands. From the education system and top universities to cost, scholarship, jobs and what life actually looks like when you get there. So let's get right into it. Let me explain why every Indian student should seriously consider the Netherlands. You have the fifth largest economy in the European Union, a GDP of $1.2 trillion and home to global giants like ASML, Shell, Philips and Booking.com. A powerful high-tech economy packed into a country like the size of Kerala. And here's what makes the timing particularly interesting. For a few years, the Dutch government was debating whether to slow down international student intake, tighter rules, reduce English taught programs, whether there should be a restriction on recruitment. Then the research came out showing that capping international students could cost the Dutch economy up to 5 billion euros. And that changed the conversation entirely. The new government reversed course, scrapped the restrictions and announced a 1.5 billion euros investment into higher education. That simply means there will be more programs, better infrastructure, stronger industry ties and a cleaner path to building your career after graduation. While countries like US, UK and Canada are tightening immigration rules, the Netherlands is moving in the exact opposite direction. And that gap is only going to widen. It has 8 universities in the global top 200. Unemployment rate is at just 3.8%. One of the lowest in Europe. That combination of academic quality and economic strength is rarer than you think, and right now the window is wide open. The Dutch education system follows the standard Western model, so the structure will feel similar. For international students, undergraduate degrees are typically 3 to 4 years and master degrees are typically 1 to 2 years. And you have two types of institutions. First is research universities focused on academic theory and research. And second is universities of applied sciences called the HBO, which are more practical and career focused. Both are well respected. The Netherlands has 14 research universities and 43 universities of applied sciences. What sets Dutch education apart is the problem-based learning. Instead of large lecture halls, you work in small groups solving real-world problems. You research, debate and arrive at your own conclusions. Professors are more like guides than just lecturers. For Indian students, this feels like a big shift at first, but most come to love it because you actually understand what you're studying rather than memorizing it for an exam. Grading runs on a scale of 1 to 10. 6 is the minimum passing grade and above 8 is excellent. And a 10 is virtually impossible, so don't panic if your grades look lower than back in India. Though there is one honest caveat, at the undergraduate level, English taught programs are more limited than you'd expect. Good options exist in CS, engineering, business, economics, and psychology. But for other fields, the number drops significantly. For postgraduate programs, this is far less of an issue. The vast majority of master's programs are in English. Let me walk you through the fields that genuinely stand out in both academic quality and career demand. Engineering, aerospace and technology is where Netherlands has truly unfair advantage. 85% of all chips worldwide are designed and produced using Dutch semiconductor equipment. ASML alone has invested 3 billion euros in research and development in 2024. TU Delft is the go-to university here with dedicated programs in aerospace, mechanical and computer science. From engineering, a natural transition takes you into data science and AI. Arguably the hottest field in the country right now, AI is expected to add 80 to 85 billion euros to the Dutch economy over the next 10 years. And the government has committed over 300 million euros into AI research and development. University of Amsterdam, Utrecht and TU Delft all have strong programs here. with companies like Booking.com, ASML, and Philips actively hiring graduates. Then there's business and economics, the most popular field among international students. Rotterdam School of Management at Erasmus University consistently ranks among the top business schools in Europe. Average salary after an MBA from Rotterdam is over rupees 1 crore. One thing to be careful about is medicine and law. A Dutch law degree won't qualify you to practice in India, and the medical recognition process has its own complications. So do your research before applying to any of these programs. Universities in the Netherlands are broadly split into two types: research universities, which are focused on theory and research, and universities of applied science or HBO, which are more practice oriented with strong industry links. In total, there are 14 research universities and 43 universities of applied sciences, as I mentioned before. It is spread across cities like Amsterdam, Delft, Rotterdam, Utrecht, Leiden, and Groningen. Now, within the research universities, a few names genuinely stand out on a global level. You have TU Delft, which is ranked 48th in the world and founded in 1842. And it has strong ties with companies like Shell, Philips, and ASML, making it the go-to for engineering, aerospace, computer science, and sustainable design. Then you have the University of Amsterdam, ranked 60th globally, which is particularly strong across business, economics, law, and social sciences. Third, you have Erasmus University Rotterdam. It is home to the Rotterdam School of Management, where the average salary after an MBA crosses 1 crore rupees. Then you have Utrecht University and Wageningen University. Utrecht University is the powerhouse in health sciences, pharmaceuticals, and interdisciplinary research. And Wageningen University is ranked among the very best in the world for agriculture and food sciences. These are genuinely attractive options, but keep in mind that acceptance rate for international students range between 10% to 30% depending on the program. Your academic record, statement of purpose, and overall application need to be genuinely strong to get in these universities. Almost all major public universities in Netherlands use Studielink, a centralized government-backed portal. Think of it as the UCAS of the Netherlands. Universities like TU Delft, UVA, Erasmus, Utrecht, Leiden, all are on Studielink. The only exceptions are private institutions like Wittenberg UAS or SRH Haarlem, which have their own portals. So the very first thing you want to do is verify whether your target university is on Studielink at studielink.nl. The process itself is straightforward. Create an account with your passport, select your university and program, and then submit. But here's what most students get wrong. Submitting on Studielink is not the end. After submitting through Studielink, the university then contacts you separately and invites you to their own portal, where you upload your full application with documents like transcripts, SOP, LORs, English proficiency scores, and your CV. Missing that second step means your application is incomplete, even if Studielink shows it as submitted. Now there's one more thing you absolutely need to know about, which is numerus fixus. Certain high demand programs like medicine, psychology, international business, and physiotherapy have a fixed number of seats. If you're applying to one of these, the deadline is January 15th, and you can apply to a maximum of 2 numerus fixus programs per cycle, and you will go through a selection process involving entrance exams, motivation assignments, or interviews, with results coming out in mid-April. For all the other programs, the non-EU deadline for fall intake falls between December to May. But honestly, don't wait that long. Apply between September and January because many programs use rolling admissions, and both seats and scholarships funding can disappear well before the official deadline closes. For non-EU students, tuition ranges between 6 lakh rupees to 25 lakh rupees per year, with most top public universities falling between 10 lakh to 26 lakh rupees. Bachelor's fees are generally lower than master's, and I agree, that's not cheap. Germany offers public university education for almost nothing, but compare it to the likes of US or UK, where a single year can cost you around 40 to 60 lakh rupees per year, and the Netherlands looks very reasonable here. MBA tuition fees is in a completely different league. The Rotterdam School of Management costs around rupees 75 lakhs. Steep, yes, but MBA salaries typically run almost double what an average MS graduate earns, so the return on investment tends to justify it. Living costs range between 12,000 euros to 18,000 euros per year. Amsterdam is the most expensive out of all the cities. Smaller cities like Groningen and Maastricht are noticeably cheaper. One genuine challenge is that the Netherlands has a well-documented housing shortage, especially in Amsterdam and Utrecht. So start your housing search the moment your admission is confirmed. To offset these costs, you can work part-time 16 hours a week during semester and 6 hours a day when the school is out. Common roles include retail, hospitality, tutoring, and admin jobs, paying around €6 to €10 per hour. You can find these jobs by your university job board or working on a website or by networking. And when it comes to scholarship, the NL scholarship, funded by the Dutch Ministry of Education and offered by 34 participating universities, gives a one-time €5,000 grant to non-EU students in their first year. It's completely merit-based and competitive, with most deadlines falling between February and May. Beyond this, universities like TU Delft, University of Twente, and Erasmus have their own scholarships. Check their university scholarship page when you apply, because you can often apply to multiple scholarships at once. And one critical tip: several universities only consider scholarship applications from students who apply within the first 4 to 6 weeks of the admission window. So applying early isn't just about securing a seat, it's about securing funding too. The Dutch job market is strong. The unemployment is at just 3.8%. It is one of the lowest in Europe. The Netherlands is a global hub for tech, AI, logistics, finance, healthcare, and business. ASML, Booking.com, ING, Philips, Shell, and Heineken are all headquartered here. Most companies in these sectors operate in English, so Dutch language skills help but aren't essential, particularly in tech and engineering. Campus placement here isn't like India. Companies do come to campus for info sessions, networking events, and career fairs, but there's no single placement season where you sit and wait. You need to actively network, apply, and interview. Annual salaries can range anywhere between 45 lakhs to 80 lakh rupees. After taxes and living expenses, realistic savings come to around 20 to 35 lakh rupees per year, meaning you can recover your full investment in roughly 2 to 3 years. And that's strong return for the quality of education and career access you are getting. And one thing, if you're applying to Netherlands, you have to prepare for is that the Dutch are very direct in professional settings, and they give very honest feedbacks, clear expectations, and it can feel different from India at first, but most people come to appreciate it quickly. When you graduate from a Dutch university, you are eligible for an orientation year visa, a one-year residence permit for recent graduates looking for work. It cannot be extended, so that 1 year is your window. To be eligible, you need to have completed an accredited bachelor's or master's at a Dutch higher education institution within the last 3 years. The biggest advantage of this orientation year is that you may work freely in the Netherlands, do an internship, or work as an entrepreneur or freelancer. Your employer does not need a work permit. On the back of your residence card, it literally says work freely permitted, TWV not required. Once you find a job and want to stay, you apply for a residence permit as a highly skilled migrant. Your employers just need to be recognized IND sponsor, and most major companies in tech, finance, engineering, and healthcare already are. For PR, you require 5 consecutive years of legal residence, a stable income, and passing a basic Dutch civic integration exam. Your student years count as well. Do a 2 years master's, take the orientation year, move to a work visa. PR is realistically within the reach 3 to 4 years after graduating. Compare that to US lottery or tightening rules in the UK and Canada, and it's genuinely not close. The first thing most Indian students notice is how direct and straightforward Dutch people are. If they think something is wrong, they'll so politely but clearly state it to you. It takes some getting used to coming from India, but most students come to love it. No guessing where you stand, professors go by first names, students openly challenge ideas in classes, and the hierarchy you are used to in an Indian classroom simply doesn't exist here. With regards to language, more than 90% of the Dutch population speaks English, not just in Amsterdam but across the country. Your university, office, landlord, the guy at the grocery store, English works everywhere. A few Dutch phrases help, but you'll never be stuck without them. Dutch cuisine itself is simple: bread, cheese, potatoes, but the cities are extremely cosmopolitan. Indian restaurants and South Asian grocery stores exist in almost every major city. Indonesian food is also widely popular because of the historical ties between the two countries, and honestly, it's worth trying. Getting around the cities is easy and surprisingly fun. Amsterdam alone has more than 800,000 bicycles, and you can buy one within your first week. And for longer distances, the train network connects every part of the country efficiently. The weather, though, nobody warns you enough. It rains a lot. Winters are grey and cold. Coming from Mumbai, Chennai, or any other part of India, the first winter will feel like a shock, but you will adapt to it faster than you would think. So that's the full picture of studying, working, and living in the Netherlands. The Netherlands gives you world-class education, a truly English-friendly environment, one of the cleanest post-study work pathways, and a quality of life that very few countries can match, all at a cost significantly lower than the US, UK, or Australia. It's not the most talked about destination. It's not the one your relatives will immediately recognize at the dinner table, but for the right student, someone who's academically strong, genuinely curious, and open to a different kind of experience, it might honestly be one of the best decisions you can make. If you have any questions about studying in the Netherlands or about study abroad process in general, drop a comment below. We read every single one. And if you want a personalized guidance on whether the Netherlands is the right fit for your profile and goals, the links are in the description. Till then, I'll see you in the next one.